In the year 2245, a team of archaeologists, led by Dr. Elena Torres, embarked on an expedition to Antarctica, a place known for its harsh conditions and secrets buried beneath layers of ice. The mission aimed to study ancient ice cores, but what they uncovered was beyond their wildest imaginations. As they dug deeper into the frozen landscape, their tools struck something metallic, a large, unyielding surface buried under centuries of snow and ice. Excitement surged through the team as they worked tirelessly to reveal the structure. After days of excavation, they finally uncovered the outlines of a colossal ship, its once pristine exterior now weathered but undeniably human in design. The ship bore the marks of a civilization long forgotten, and the archaeologists could hardly contain their enthusiasm as they stood before the relic, awestruck by its scale and the possibility of its history. Word of the discovery spread quickly, igniting curiosity and excitement around the globe. News channels broadcast live footage of the excavation, capturing the imagination of millions. Speculation ran wild. What was this ship? Who had built it? And why had it been buried in the frozen wasteland of Antarctica? Historians and scientists scrambled to piece together the puzzle, while governments around the world began to take notice, sensing the potential implications of such a find. As the team delved deeper into the ship, they discovered a remarkable interior. Ancient technology lined the walls, complex circuits, holographic displays, and an array of devices that seemed to hum with energy. It became clear that this was no ordinary vessel. It was a warship, designed for combat and equipped with weapons that surpassed modern understanding. The ship's core, still intact, held an energy source unlike anything ever seen before, pulsating with a life of its own. Dr. Torres and her team worked diligently to unlock the secrets of the ship, documenting their findings and sharing them with military leaders who were quickly summoned to the site. The atmosphere shifted as high-ranking officials arrived, their faces a mix of intrigue and concern. They recognized the potential threat posed by this discovery, knowing that such technology could alter the balance of power on Earth. Late one evening, while analyzing the ship's systems, the team activated a holographic interface embedded within the control panel. The display flickered to life, revealing ancient battle strategies, recorded battles from an era long past. The recordings depicted tactical maneuvers and skirmishes that captivated the archaeologists. Dr. Torres realized that they were witnessing the remnants of a time when humanity fought for survival against overwhelming odds. With each passing day, the sense of urgency grew. What if the ship attracted unwanted attention? What if there were others who sought to claim this treasure for themselves? As the team worked tirelessly to decode the ancient technology, Dr. Torres couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing at the precipice of something monumental, teetering between discovery and catastrophe. Meanwhile, beyond the icy horizon, a dark shadow loomed. Unbeknownst to the team, an alien fleet had detected the energy signature emanating from the ancient ship. Led by the ambitious Commander Zirak, the Arcanthians had their eyes set on Earth, convinced that the ship held the key to their expansion across the galaxy. As the team celebrated their groundbreaking discovery, a storm was brewing in the cosmos, one that would change the fate of humanity forever. As news of the ancient ship spread, a ripple of excitement swept across Earth. While scientists and historians celebrated the discovery, not everyone shared in the optimism. Hidden from public view, military leaders convened in a secure facility, weighing the implications of what lay beneath the Antarctic ice. They understood that technology of this magnitude could shift the balance of power and that it could attract attention from forces beyond their control. In a dimly lit war room, General Marcus Holt, a seasoned strategist, paced before a holographic map of the Earth. The room buzzed with tension as officers monitored communications and radar feeds. "We must secure the site immediately," he declared. "If this ship is as powerful as we suspect, we cannot risk it falling into the wrong hands." Meanwhile, far from Earth, the Arcanthian fleet, cloaked in the darkness of space, was already en route. Commander Zirak stood at the helm of his flagship, a sleek vessel brimming with advanced weaponry. The glow of the control panels illuminated his sharp features as he studied the data streaming in. Reports indicated a sudden surge of energy originating from the icy planet, a signal that could only mean one thing. Humanity had discovered something significant. Zirek's ambitions were boundless. The Arcanthians had long sought to expand their territory, and the technology of an ancient human warship could be the key to their dominance. "Prepare the fleet for immediate deployment," he ordered. "We will not allow this opportunity to slip through our fingers." As the alien ships surged through the void, their sleek forms cutting through the darkness, back on Earth, Dr. Torres and her team continued to unlock the ship's secrets. They had set up makeshift laboratories around the excavation site, and excitement buzzed in the air. Each new discovery unveiled facets of the ship's advanced technology: energy weapons, navigation systems, and even combat simulations. Yet, a nagging concern gnawed at Dr. Torres. They were playing with forces they barely understood. The military presence grew around the site, with troops establishing a perimeter and advanced surveillance equipment monitoring the skies. The atmosphere shifted from curiosity to apprehension as Earth prepared for a potential confrontation. Dr. Torres found herself in frequent discussions with General Holt, who wanted to understand the capabilities of the ship and whether it could be weaponized. As they worked, Dr. Torres couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and dread. She was on the verge of uncovering humanity's past, but she was also acutely aware of the danger that knowledge could bring. One night, while reviewing data in the ship's control room, she caught sight of a distant flicker in the sky, a brief shimmer that vanished almost instantly. Her instincts screamed that something was off, but she dismissed it as her imagination running wild. Days turned into weeks, and tensions mounted. Zirek's fleet approached Earth, their cloaked ships moving silently through the cosmos. The alien commander reviewed his battle plans, confident in his superiority. Earth's defenses, though fortified, were untested against a force of such advanced technology. Zirek's cold determination mirrored the intensity of his mission. He would claim the ancient ship for the Arcanthian Empire, no matter the cost. As the countdown to confrontation drew nearer, Dr. Torres gathered her team. "We need to be ready for anything," she said, her voice steady, but laced with urgency. "This discovery could change everything for humanity, but we must protect it at all costs." Unbeknownst to her, the clock was ticking. The first encounter between humanity and an advanced alien fleet was imminent, and the outcome would determine not only the fate of the ship but the survival of Earth itself. The stage was set for a clash that would test the limits of human ingenuity and courage against a relentless foe. As the days passed, tensions mounted both at the excavation site and within the military command center. Dr. Elena Torres felt the weight of responsibility resting heavily on her shoulders. Each new discovery in the ancient ship brought with it a sense of wonder, but also a creeping fear of what might come next. The military presence intensified, and armed guards now patrolled the perimeter around the site, their eyes scanning the skies for any sign of the approaching alien fleet. One morning, while poring over the ship's control interface, Dr. Torres noticed something unusual. A series of holographic displays flickered to life, revealing intricate patterns of light and energy. The ship's systems were awakening, responding to her presence. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, she began to engage with the interface, inputting commands based on her understanding of ancient technology. As she did so, the ship hummed softly, a sound that resonated through her very bones. Suddenly, the room was filled with a brilliant blue light, and a holographic figure emerged from the control panel. The figure was tall and regal, adorned in what appeared to be ancient human military attire. Dr. Torres gasped as the hologram solidified into a fully formed AI, introducing itself as Orion. "Welcome, Dr. Torres," it said in a voice that echoed with authority and wisdom. "I am the guardian of this vessel, designed to assist humanity in its time of need." Overwhelmed, Dr. Torres exchanged glances with her team, who were equally astonished. "You mean you've been dormant all this time?" she asked, her voice trembling with awe. Orion nodded, explaining that the ship had been hidden away, its systems shutting down to preserve its knowledge until humanity was ready to reclaim it. As the AI began to share its vast repository of information, it revealed strategic combat techniques, navigation systems, and advanced weaponry. The recordings showcased ancient battles, detailing tactics used by humans in times of conflict. Dr. Torres and her team watched in rapt attention, absorbing the knowledge as Orion articulated the nuances of warfare that had long been forgotten. With each passing hour, hope blossomed within the team. Under Orion's guidance, they began to formulate a plan to harness the ship's technology, creating a training program for the military personnel stationed at the site. They envisioned using the ancient tactics to prepare humanity for the impending confrontation with the Arcanthian fleet. Meanwhile, Commander Zirak remained oblivious to the awakening of the ship and its potential. His fleet moved closer to Earth, their cloaked vessels gliding through space like shadows. Zirak, fueled by ambition and confidence, overlooked the possibility that humanity might be capable of mounting a defense. He was determined to seize the ancient ship, believing it would solidify his legacy as a conqueror. Back at the excavation site, training began in earnest. Military personnel engaged with the ship's technology, practicing maneuvers and strategies unveiled by Orion. Dr. Torres watched with a mixture of pride and anxiety as soldiers trained under the guidance of the AI, adapting the ancient techniques to modern warfare. As the first week of training concluded, a sense of unity emerged among the troops. They began to understand that they were not just fighting for their lives, but for the very survival of humanity. The weight of their mission became clear as they stood together, ready to defend their home against an unknown enemy. However, a ticking clock reminded them that time was running short. The Arcanthian fleet would soon arrive, and humanity's resolve would be tested. Dr. Torres felt a surge of determination as she gazed at the ship, now pulsating with energy. This ancient vessel, a symbol of humanity's past, was becoming their greatest hope for the future. The stage was set for a battle that would define the fate of their civilization. The atmosphere buzzed with tension as humanity prepared for the imminent confrontation with the Arcanthian fleet. The ancient ship, now humming with life and purpose, stood as a beacon of hope against the darkness approaching from the stars. Dr. Elena Torres and her team continued to work alongside Orion, refining their strategies and readying the ship's weaponry. Each passing moment felt like a countdown, a reminder that the fate of Earth hung in the balance. As the military personnel trained diligently, a fleet of Earth ships was assembled around the excavation site, fortified with the advanced technology derived from the ancient vessel. General Marcus Holt stood at the helm of the flagship, reviewing the tactical display that projected Orion's battle simulations. He felt a mixture of pride and apprehension as he addressed the gathered crew, their faces illuminated by the blue glow of the holographic maps. "Today, we face an enemy that underestimates us," he began, his voice steady but charged with intensity. "They may have superior technology, but they lack our tenacity and will to survive. We have the advantage of history on our side. We will fight not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity." As the Earth fleet prepared for deployment, the radar operators detected a surge of activity in space. The Arcanthian ships, sleek and imposing, emerged from the darkness, their hulls shimmering ominously. The first glimpse of the alien fleet sent shockwaves through the command center, and a hushed silence fell over the crew. "Battle stations," General Holt commanded, his voice cutting through the tension. "Prepare to engage." The Earth ships aligned themselves in formation, weapons primed and ready. As they approached the alien vessels, Dr. Torres felt a mixture of fear and adrenaline surging through her. She stood alongside Orion in the control room of the ancient ship, which had been repurposed as a command center for the operation. The ship's systems displayed vital information about the incoming fleet, and Orion's voice resonated with calm authority. Commander Zirak's fleet consists of 10 capital ships and numerous smaller vessels. They will employ aggressive tactics to overwhelm our defenses, Orion explained. Utilize flanking maneuvers to exploit their weaknesses. As the Earth fleet advanced, Zirak's ships opened fire, a barrage of laser blasts illuminating the void. The first few shots struck true, but the Earth ships, trained in the ancient tactics, maneuvered with agility. They returned fire, and for a moment, it seemed as though humanity might hold its ground. The battle erupted in a dazzling display of light and sound. Ships weaved and danced through space, exchanging fire as explosions blossomed like stars. The thrill of combat surged through the crew, and camaraderie was forged in the heat of battle. Yet, the Arcanthians were relentless. Their ships regrouped and launched a coordinated assault, catching several Earth vessels off guard. Dr. Torres watched the unfolding chaos from the control room, her heart pounding. "We need to regroup and reposition," she urged. "We can't afford to lose any more ships." Orion's holographic displays flickered with updates. Adjust trajectory by 15 degrees to the left. Engage cloaking protocols to avoid detection. The crew executed Orion's commands with precision, adjusting their positions as they fell back to regroup. The strategy had shifted, and they were beginning to outmaneuver the alien forces. But just as they found their footing, Zirak made a bold move, ordering his fleet to split and flank the Earth ships from both sides. The alien commander, confident and ruthless, sought to capitalize on the chaos. However, he had underestimated the resilience and adaptability of humanity. As Earth's forces adjusted their tactics, they began to strike back with renewed vigor. With Orion's guidance, they executed a series of flanking maneuvers that caught the Arcanthians off guard. As the battle raged, Dr. Torres felt a surge of hope. Humanity was rising to the occasion, defying expectations. The clash of two civilizations had begun, and Earth was ready to prove its worth against a formidable foe. The outcome remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity would fight for its survival, and they would not go down without a battle. The initial clash with the Arcanthian fleet had left Earth's forces reeling, but they were not broken. As the smoke of battle hung in the void, General Marcus Holt convened a strategy session aboard the flagship, the Aurora. The atmosphere was charged with urgency as the commanding officers gathered around a holographic table displaying a three-dimensional model of the battlefield. "Casualties are mounting," General Holt began, his voice steady yet tinged with concern. "But we've held our ground. The enemy has underestimated our resolve, and we need to capitalize on that." Dr. Elena Torres stood beside him, her expression one of determination. "Orion, what's the status of the Arcanthian fleet?" she asked, eager for insights. "Damage assessments indicate that 2 of their capital ships are compromised, and several smaller vessels are in disarray," Orion reported, projecting data onto the holographic display. "However, their commander, Zirak, is likely regrouping for a counterattack. We must anticipate his next move." General Holt nodded, absorbing the information. "We need a bold strategy. If we can create chaos within their ranks, we might force them to retreat. Orion, what do you suggest?" Orion paused for a moment, its holographic form flickering with energy. "I propose a 2-pronged attack. One fleet will engage the aliens directly, drawing their fire and creating confusion. Meanwhile, a stealth team will infiltrate their mothership to disable their command and control systems." The room fell silent as officers processed the plan. The notion of infiltrating the enemy's flagship was audacious, yet it sparked hope. Dr. Torres spoke up, her voice filled with conviction. "If we can disrupt their command, we could turn the tide of battle in our favor. We need a team of our best pilots and engineers to execute this." General Holt looked around the room, gauging the reactions of his officers. "Who will lead the infiltration team?" he asked. "I will," said Captain Alex Ramirez, a skilled pilot known for his quick thinking in high-pressure situations. "I've trained with the ancient ship systems and know how to navigate the terrain. We can use cloaking technology to slip past their defenses." Holt nodded, impressed by Ramirez's confidence. "Very well. You will lead the infiltration team. Assemble your crew and prepare for launch. The rest of us will focus on the main engagement." As the meeting concluded, the urgency of the moment weighed heavily on Dr. Torres. She knew the risks involved in the plan, but the potential reward was immense. As she watched Captain Ramirez gather his team, a sense of determination swelled within her. This was humanity's chance to reclaim its destiny. Preparations began immediately. The stealth team conducted rigorous training, practicing maneuvers that would allow them to navigate the alien mothership undetected. Meanwhile, the main fleet adjusted its strategy to create a diversion, fortifying their defenses while simulating a full frontal assault. The day of the operation arrived. As the Earth fleet prepared to launch, Dr. Torres stood on the command deck of the Aurora, her heart racing. "We must be ready for anything," she reminded the crew. "This is not just about technology. It's about our survival. We are fighting for our home and our future." The fleet launched, engines roaring to life as they hurtled toward the waiting Arcanthian ships. Meanwhile, Captain Ramirez and his team, cloaked and determined, slipped away in a smaller vessel, their eyes set on the enemy mothership. As the Earth fleet engaged in battle, firing on the alien ships and drawing their attention, the stealth team maneuvered expertly through the chaos. The tension was palpable as they approached their target, knowing that their success could mean the difference between victory and defeat. In the depths of space, two destinies collided. The clash between humanity and the Arcanthian fleet was about to reach a boiling point, and both sides were poised to fight for what they believed was theirs. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through the annals of history. As the Earth fleet engaged the Arcanthian ships in a fierce battle, Captain Alex Ramirez and his stealth team maneuvered their vessel through the chaos of war. Cloaked and unseen, they navigated the debris field of fallen ships and scattered asteroids, heading straight for the imposing silhouette of the Arcanthian mothership. The ship loomed like a fortress, its surface bristling with weapons and defenses, but Ramirez felt a surge of determination. "Stay sharp, team," he instructed, his voice calm despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "We have one shot at this. Our mission is to disable their command systems. Let's move quickly and quietly." As they approached the mothership, the team activated their cloaking device, rendering them nearly invisible to the alien sensors. The tension inside the cockpit was palpable, each member acutely aware of the stakes. They were entering the heart of the enemy's operations, and failure was not an option. Once they reached the mothership's docking bay, they quietly maneuvered their vessel into an unoccupied section. The bay was teeming with Arcanthian personnel, their blue skin glistening under the stark overhead lights. The team disembarked swiftly, using the shadows to their advantage. With Orion's guidance, they had access to the ship's schematics, allowing them to navigate the labyrinthine corridors. "Follow my lead," Ramirez whispered, glancing at his team. "We'll split into two groups. One team will head to the command center while the other creates a diversion to draw attention away from us." The team moved with precision, their training paying off as they slipped through the halls. The alien architecture was unfamiliar but oddly beautiful, with smooth curves and pulsating lights that seemed alive. They reached a control room, where a handful of Arcanthian officers monitored the battle outside. "Now's our chance," Ramirez signaled, leading his team into action. They quickly subdued the guards, using non-lethal tactics to avoid raising alarms. As they took control of the room, they secured the entrance and set to work on disabling the command systems. Orion's holographic interface flickered to life above the control panel, displaying vital data. "You need to access the central console. It controls communications and the fleet's tactical displays. Once disabled, it will create confusion among their ranks." With a sense of urgency, the team worked to hack into the alien systems. Ramirez focused on the console, feeling the pressure mount as the seconds ticked away. Outside, the battle raged on, laser blasts illuminating the dark expanse of space. Suddenly, an alert blared through the command center, echoing ominously. "Intruders detected," a voice announced in an alien tongue. Ramirez's heart raced. "We've been found out. We need to finish this quickly." The team intensified their efforts, fingers flying over the controls. With Orion's guidance, they began to breach the alien security protocols, but time was running out. The door to the command room burst open, revealing a squad of armed Arcanthian soldiers. "Defend the control room," Ramirez shouted, grabbing a weapon from one of the subdued officers. The team sprang into action, taking cover as the aliens opened fire. The room erupted in chaos, the sound of blaster fire mixing with the hum of the mothership's machinery. Just as it seemed they might be overwhelmed, Orion projected a tactical display that highlighted weaknesses in the aliens' defense. "Flank them from the left," it instructed, and Ramirez coordinated his team to execute a counterattack. With strategic precision, they moved as one, taking advantage of the confusion to drive back the alien soldiers. The tide began to turn as they forced their way back to the console. Ramirez took a deep breath, focused on the screen, and pressed the final command. With a surge of energy, the central console went dark. "Command systems disabled," Orion announced. "Their communications are disrupted, and they are losing coordination in the battle." Outside, the effects were immediate. The Arcanthian fleet, once organized and formidable, began to falter. Earth's forces seized the moment, pushing back against the alien ships with renewed vigor. As the chaos unfolded, Ramirez and his team prepared to make their escape, hearts racing at the prospect of returning home as heroes. The fate of the battle hung in the balance, but in that moment, they knew they had dealt a significant blow to the Arcanthian forces. With determination in their hearts, they set out to rendezvous with their cloaked vessel, ready to complete their mission and return to Earth. As Captain Alex Ramirez and his team made their escape from the command center, the chaos of the battle outside intensified. The Arcanthian fleet was in disarray, their once coordinated formations fracturing under the weight of confusion. Earth's forces, empowered by the sudden shift in momentum, pressed their advantage, unleashing a barrage of firepower that echoed through the void. "Let's move," Ramirez urged, leading his team through the corridors of the mothership. They navigated the alien architecture, adrenaline fueling their haste. The sounds of battle echoed in the distance, and each step felt like a race against time. As they reached the docking bay, the sight before them sent a chill through Ramirez. Several Arcanthian ships had mobilized, engines humming ominously as they prepared to take off. If they didn't act quickly, their chance of escape would vanish. "Orion, can you disable those ships?" Ramirez asked, urgency lacing his voice. "Affirmative," Orion responded, projecting a series of schematics for the docking bay systems. Accessing the control terminal now, the team quickly set up a defensive perimeter as Ramirez and one of his engineers rushed to the terminal. The clattering of footsteps approached, and the tension in the air thickened. They needed to finish this before they were overwhelmed. "Just a few more seconds," Ramirez muttered, fingers flying over the controls. Outside, the sounds of laser fire and explosions reverberated, a reminder of the stakes they were fighting for. With one final keystroke, the terminal beeped in acknowledgement. "Arcanthian ships disabled," Orion confirmed. "They will be unable to launch until repairs are made." "Let's get out of here," Ramirez shouted, and the team dashed back to their cloaked vessel. They boarded swiftly, the sound of the ship's engines resonating with a reassuring hum. As they prepared for takeoff, they received a communication from General Holt. "Ramirez, report." The general's voice crackled over the comms. "We've successfully disabled the command systems and immobilized several Arcanthian ships," Ramirez replied, his heart racing with a mix of pride and urgency. "We're preparing for departure now. Get back here quickly. The main fleet is holding, but we need every hand on deck," Holt urged. "Zirak won't give up easily." With the general's words echoing in his mind, Ramirez initiated the launch sequence. The vessel lifted off, gliding smoothly into the vacuum of space. As they exited the mothership, the sight that greeted them was both exhilarating and harrowing. The battle raged on, but Earth's forces had gained the upper hand. "Orion, what's our best route back to the fleet?" Ramirez asked, eyes scanning the chaos outside. "Follow the trajectory marked on your display. Avoid areas with heavy fire," Orion instructed, overlaying a path through the battlefield. As the team maneuvered through the debris of fallen ships and the wreckage of the Arcanthian fleet, they caught sight of the Aurora, General Holt's flagship, standing strong amidst the chaos. The sight inspired hope, reminding them of their purpose. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for a future. Just as they approached the main fleet, alarms blared on their ship. Ramirez's heart sank as he realized they were being targeted. An Arcanthian ship, having regained its bearings, had locked onto them. "Evasive maneuvers," he shouted, gripping the controls. The vessel swerved sharply as laser fire whizzed by, narrowly missing them. "Orion, can you jam their targeting systems?" Ramirez asked, desperation creeping into his voice. "Initiating now," Orion replied, its holographic form flickering with energy. In a heartbeat, the ship's systems surged, and the targeting indicators on the Arcanthian ship began to falter. "Now's our chance," Ramirez shouted, seizing the moment. He pushed the engines to full throttle, propelling their vessel toward the safety of the Aurora. As they flew into the protective formation of Earth's fleet, a sense of relief washed over the team. Once inside the relative safety of the flagship, Ramirez turned to his team, their faces a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. "We did it. We actually did it," he said, a broad grin breaking across his face. But the battle was far from over. As the crew regrouped and prepared for the next phase, Zirak's forces rallied. The true test of humanity's resilience was yet to come, and they would have to confront the Arcanthian commander head-on. The outcome of the battle for Earth was still in the balance, and every moment counted. With Captain Alex Ramirez and his team back aboard the Aurora, the mood shifted from relief to determination. The battle raged outside, and the remnants of the Arcanthian fleet regrouped, preparing for a final desperate push against Earth's forces. General Marcus Holt stood at the command console, a steely resolve etched on his face. "Listen up, everyone," Holt said, addressing the crew. "We've gained the upper hand, but Zirak will not surrender easily. We need to end this now before they can regroup and mount another attack." Dr. Elena Torres, standing beside Holt, nodded in agreement. "If we can exploit the confusion we've created, we may be able to strike directly at Zirak's flagship. Orion, can you identify the weakest points in their formation?" "Analyzing now," Orion replied, its holographic display illuminating the command center with critical data. "The Arcanthian flagship is currently vulnerable on its starboard side. Engaging with concentrated fire from multiple angles could disrupt their command capabilities." Holt's eyes sparkled with a mixture of hope and determination. "Let's coordinate an all-out assault. I want every available ship focused on that flagship. Ramirez, you're in command of the strike team. Prepare to launch as soon as we have the go-ahead." As the crew sprang into action, Ramirez felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had led them through the infiltration, but now the stakes were even higher. They were on the brink of a battle that would determine the fate of their world. Once the final preparations were complete, Holt signaled the fleet. "All ships, prepare for coordinated attack on the Arcanthian flagship. Ramirez, lead your team to flank their right side." The Aurora's engines roared to life as they launched into the fray. Ramirez felt the adrenaline surge through him as they raced toward the enemy lines. The sight of the Arcanthian flagship loomed ahead, its sleek, intimidating silhouette a stark reminder of the threat they faced. "Steady," Ramirez instructed his team as they approached. "We need to work together to break through their defenses." As they closed in, the enemy opened fire. Ramirez deftly maneuvered their vessel, weaving through laser blasts while maintaining a steady course. "Orion, target their weapon systems." "Engaging now," Orion responded, unleashing a volley of fire that struck true, causing explosions to erupt along the enemy's starboard side. The flagship shook, but it was still operational. "Keep up the pressure," Ramirez shouted, rallying his crew. They unleashed a relentless barrage of firepower, their determination bolstered by the knowledge that the fate of humanity was on the line. From the command deck of the Aurora, General Holt monitored the battle, his heart racing as the tide began to turn. "Push forward," he commanded. "We can't let them regroup." Just then, a comms officer interrupted. "General, we have a transmission from Zirek's flagship." "Put it through," Holt ordered. The holographic display flickered, revealing Zirek, his alien features twisted into a mask of fury. "You think you can defeat us, humans? You are mere insects to be crushed." Holt met Zirek's gaze, unwavering. "We will fight for our home, our families, and our future. You underestimated humanity, and that will be your downfall." With a sneer, Zirek cut the transmission. Holt turned back to his crew, determination etched on his face. "Let's finish this." As Ramirez and his team continued their assault, they felt the tide of battle shifting. The Arcanthian flagship, once a symbol of power, was beginning to falter under the relentless barrage. Earth's forces, emboldened by the knowledge of their strength and unity, pressed forward. With a final coordinated strike, the Aurora and its accompanying ships unleashed a devastating volley aimed at the flagship's command center. The impact sent shockwaves through the alien ship, and alarms blared as its systems began to fail. "Now, push forward for the final blow," Ramirez shouted, his voice echoing through the chaos. As they charged, the flagship began to break apart, its once imposing form crumbling under the onslaught. Zirek's desperate attempts to rally his forces fell flat as the Earth fleet pressed their advantage. In that moment, a wave of triumph surged through Ramirez and his crew. They had fought against overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. The last remnants of the Arcanthian fleet flood into the depths of space, leaving behind the wreckage of what had once been a formidable threat. As the Aurora floated amidst the debris, a silence fell over the battlefield. It was a moment of reflection, of gratitude for the lives spared, and a celebration of resilience. Humanity had faced a great challenge and emerged stronger than ever.